Well, if recent history is any indication, to win the White House, you first have to win Florida. In six straight elections and 11 of the past 12, dating back to 1972, the winner of the Sunshine State has gone on to win the White House. And almost every recent poll out of Florida has that state a toss up between Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger, Joe Biden. Joining us with more this morning is Kevin Wagner. He's a professor of political science at Florida Atlantic University. Professor, thank you for coming on and helping us solve the Florida question today. So electoral colleges, votes, and 29 of them in Florida. That's the third most, tied with New York, behind California and Texas. Talk to me about what is it about Florida that consistently makes it the determining, or one of the determining factors in these U.S. elections?
Yeah, it's just a product of the Electoral College in the sense that there's only a handful of states that are competitive, and of the states that are competitive, Florida is the largest. It provides the most electoral votes, and it's very competitive. It's closely divided, almost evenly divided, where you had Barack Obama winning the state, winning the presidency, and you had Donald Trump last time winning the state, winning the presidency. So ultimately, it is the largest swing state, is the one that is most determinative of who's going to win the election.
So Donald Trump won Florida in 2016 with about 49% of the vote. Hillary Clinton not that far behind at 47.8%. Has Trump done enough over the past 4 years and during this election campaign to maintain that lead in Florida?
Yeah, I don't think he's really persuaded anybody new. I mean, one of the things that we find when we poll Florida is that most people are not, are decided about this election. I think we have 2.5% undecided in a lot of our polling. So most people have decided, and so I don't think he's increased the size of his coalition. But the question really is he going to be able to get his people to turn out in higher numbers than the Democrats will? And it really is a turnout election.
Well, let's talk about sort of a path to victory, which is a sort of an expression that we hear a lot of these days. If Joe Biden does manage to flip Florida, to win those 29 electoral college votes, what does that mean for Donald Trump's path to victory?
Yeah, it pretty much closes it. I mean, if the problem for Donald Trump is without the 29 electoral votes from Florida, he'd have to make them up somewhere else. And there's just not that many states where he can make them up. There's not that many states that are toss-ups or close enough that he can get there. And part of the interesting thing is too that Florida is kind of representative of sort of the Sun Belt or southern states. So if Biden wins Florida, it's likely that he probably won North Carolina. He might even have won Georgia, and he's competitive in Texas. So it's a bellwether in that sense. So Florida's a pretty good indicator. If you see that Joe Biden has won Florida on election night or by the next day, that's a pretty good indicator that Joe Biden has probably won this thing. If Donald Trump wins Florida, then we're going to head probably to the industrial Midwest.
And that means we might have to be waiting till the next day or possibly a week later before we get a determination as to who actually won this thing. I've got one last question for you. Over 4 years, you've got a number of people who pass away who can't vote anymore. You've got new voters who show up. You've got immigrants who come into the country. You've got people who move from certain parts of the country into Florida. It seems to me that over the course of 4 years, the dynamics, the demographics of a state like Florida could possibly change significantly. Are those things, are those aspects of the state factored into polling?
Sure. Well, you always want to account for likely voters of any kind, whether they're newly moved to the state or they're people that traditionally haven't voted, but they're voting more often now. So you always want to account for that. But the thing about Florida, you have to remember, it's really kind of three states when we analyze it. It's South Florida, Central Florida, and North Florida. And South Florida, as we like to say, is the only place in the United States where you have to go north to get south. It votes very like a northeastern state. The northern part of Florida votes very much like a southern state. It's that Central Florida area that is much more new, where you see a lot of the immigration that comes to the state often settle. It's a very touristy area, and there you can actually study and see some changes more likely and give a good indicator of where the state is going.
Hey, Professor, thank you for laying this out for us. We really appreciate your time today.
Anytime.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.